I got my mother-in-law pregnant because of my wife. My girlfriend, Isabel, was 20, Alejandro, was 35, and my mother-in-law, Claudia, was 37. Despite the age difference, I fell in love with Isabel because of her beauty and maturity. She always said that she was not attracted to young men her age, and that, although I was not a young man, I was not an old man either. One day, she proposed that we take her mother to dinner to get to know each other better. I accepted the proposal with enthusiasm. When I met Claudia, I immediately understood where Isabel had inherited her beauty. They could easily have been mistaken for sisters. Claudia's husband had passed away a few years ago, and she carried the pain of his loss with dignity. During dinner, Claudia wasted no time in addressing the issue of the age difference. She was very direct, and although her arguments were reasonable, Isabel and I refuted them with the conviction that when there is love, age is just a number. We assured her that our love was true and that we were determined to face any obstacle together. Finally, the wedding day arrived. It was a beautiful ceremony, full of love and hope. To help Claudia with her financial situation, we decided to take her to live with us. The family dynamic was wonderful, and everything seemed to be in perfect harmony. After the wedding, Isabel and I returned to our home as husband and wife for the first time. The room was illuminated by soft candlelight, creating an intimate and cozy atmosphere. "Alejandro, tonight is special," Isabel said, looking at me with a mix of love and desire. "It is, my love. Tonight is just the beginning of our journey together," I replied, approaching her and taking her hands. We kissed passionately, and the intensity of our love filled the room. I carried her in my arms to the bed, and we fell onto the soft sheets. Isabel shed her wedding dress with a grace that took my breath away. "I love you, Isabel," I whispered as I kissed her softly. "I never imagined love could feel like this," she replied, her hands gently running down my back. We slowly undressed, exploring every corner of our bodies with soft caresses and passionate kisses. Isabel's soft whispers and delicate caresses made time stand still. Every movement was a declaration of love and surrender, and together we explored every corner of our desires. "Alejandro, I want this night to be unforgettable," Isabel said, looking into my eyes with an intensity that made me shudder. "It will be, my love. I promise you that tonight will be the beginning of many happy moments together," I replied, kissing her neck and making a soft moan escape her lips. The night was a whirlwind of emotions and sensations, leaving us exhausted but satisfied, certain that our love was real and deep. Over time, I noticed that Isabel was becoming more and more distant. Her studies and extracurricular activities kept her busy, and our conversations became shorter and less meaningful. One day, she confessed to me that she had developed feelings for a fellow student, someone closer to her age. Heartbroken, I couldn't help but remember Claudia's words. She had warned that Isabel was too young for me, and that she probably needed someone more in line with her age. I was in a sea of emotions, and, without thinking, I asked Claudia, "Someone like you?" Claudia looked at me in surprise, but didn't answer right away. Instead, she took my hand and offered silent comfort. In the months that followed, Claudia became a pillar of support. Her encouraging words and constant presence helped me get through the sadness. As time went on, Claudia and I grew closer. We began to spend more time together, and our conversations became deeper and more meaningful. One night, while we were having dinner together at home, the tension between us became palpable. "Alejandro, I've been thinking a lot about what's happened," Claudia said, breaking the silence. "Me too, Claudia. I can't help but feel like this was all my fault," I replied, staring at the plate without really seeing it. "Don't blame yourself, Alejandro. Things happen for a reason. Isabel is young, and maybe she needed something different," she said, placing her hand on mine. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment, time stood still. We moved closer, our breaths mingling in the air. Without saying a word, I kissed her softly, tasting her lips for the first time. "Claudia, I don't know what's going on, but I can't ignore what I feel for you," I confessed, pulling back a little to look her in the eyes. "Me neither, Alejandro. Ever since Isabel left, I've felt a connection with you that goes beyond friendship. I've tried to ignore these feelings, but I can't pretend anymore," she replied, a mix of fear and hope in her voice. That night, the conversation flowed naturally, and the silences were charged with a tension we hadn't experienced before. When we finished dinner, we stayed in the living room, chatting and laughing. Claudia got up to clear the plates, and our fingers accidentally brushed against each other. The spark was undeniable. Would you like to stay a little longer? I asked, sensing that something important was about to happen. I'd love to, she replied with a shy smile. We sat on the couch, and I looked into her eyes. Claudia, I want you to know that I'm not confused about my feelings. What I feel for you is real, I said sincerely. I'm sorry too, Alejandro. Since Isabel left, I've discovered things about myself that I hadn't considered before. I'm ready to move on, and I think you are too, she said, caressing my cheek. We kissed again, this time with more passion. I led her to my room, where the soft moonlight filtered through the curtains, creating an intimate atmosphere. We slowly undressed, exploring every inch of our skin with soft caresses and passionate kisses. Claudia was a perfect mix of tenderness and desire. Her whispers and moans filled the room, and together we gave ourselves over to a night of unbridled passion. Alejandro, this feels so right, Claudia whispered, as our bodies moved in unison. I know, Claudia. I don't want this to end, I replied, kissing her harder. Every movement, every touch, was an affirmation of our mutual desire. The night was magical, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had found someone I could be truly happy with. Over time, Claudia began to experience symptoms that indicated something was changing in her body. One day, after a medical exam, she came home with an expression of a mix of nervousness and excitement. Alejandro, we need to talk, Claudia said, sitting next to me in the living room. Sure, Claudia. What's wrong? I asked, feeling a slight concern. The doctor confirmed that I'm pregnant, she said, her eyes filled with tears of joy. I'm on the edge of my fertility, and this baby is ours. A torrent of emotions washed over me. The news was unexpected, but it was also the perfect ending to our story. I looked at Claudia and took her hands in mine. Are you sure you want this? Are you ready to be a mother again? Yes, Alejandro. I am ready. Despite the difficulties, this baby is a blessing and a symbol of our love, she replied with a firmness that filled me with peace of mind. We both knew that this pregnancy meant much more than just an addition to our lives. It was proof that, despite the challenges and warnings, we had found something deep and true in each other. Life had taken us down unexpected paths, but now we were ready to face the future together. In the months that followed, we prepared for the arrival of our son with excitement and love. Claudia and I grew closer with each passing day, and the pregnancy became a time of discovery and growth for both of us. Finally, when our son was born, the love and joy we felt sealed our lives in a way we had never imagined. Claudia and I knew that, despite the doubts and warnings of the past, we had found something precious and lasting.
If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe, it would help us a lot.